This week, Kumar and his 10-year-old son Ashwin discuss Masashi Kishimoto's Naruto. Get a kid's view of this ninja manga that ran for 15 years. First, I'd like to thank our patrons for keeping this show going. Join them at patreon.com/deconcomics.
This is Kumar.
And this is Ashwin.
And this is Deconstructing Comics. Welcome to Deconstructing Comics. This is Kumar and Ashwin in Melbourne. And we haven't done one of these in a long time. So I think we did...
What, 3 years?
I think that's exactly right. I think we did Super Friends when you were 7. And now you're 10, and we're doing Naruto. Now, Naruto...
Volumes 1 to 6.
1 to 6, but you have a lot more than...
I've got 31, I think. No, 30.
Okay. Right, so this was a series, I think it came out I think in Japan it came out in the 90s, like late 90s. Because even this English edition is 1999. Actually the English edition, first printing is 2003, so 1999 in Japan. And I think it's done now. It's by Masashi Kishimoto. And we found volume 1 in a junk store somewhere or something.
Yeah, and then we found volumes 2 and 3 at a comic book sale.
Yep. So I think Mom found it and she thought you would like it. Or she just said, why don't we get it or something.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it was probably 50 cents or $2 or something.
Yeah.
And we picked it up. And what did you think about the first one?
Well, I didn't read it until I got 2 and 3.
Oh, okay.
But I loved it.
Okay. So, yep, and then we ended up getting a whole bunch more. You were kind of making fun of me last week because it took me a long time to read these 6 volumes. It took me about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But you've read 30 plus, 31.
Yeah. No, just 30.
30. And you've read them twice. And how fast did you say you were reading them?
And so it took me maybe 3 weeks.
Okay. Yeah, so it was like one...
I could read about 3 a day.
3 a day?
3 a day.
So that would be like 10 days. That sounds about right, actually. Well, you were reading 1 or 2 a day. It was a lot, very quickly.
Yeah, I read 2.5 or something a day.
Okay. And that's not even the whole series, so I think we worked out...
72.
There's 72. And there's kind of a halfway point, right? So...
Yes, so... Numbers 28, 29, and 30 are 2 years later in the storyline.
Okay. Alright, so we'll get to... Maybe we should come back around to that, because we haven't talked about this story or anything yet. And I also thought... I thought this was your first manga, but it wasn't, because you've read Yu-Gi-Oh! You've read some of Yu-Gi-Oh! Now... Okay, so tell us a little bit about Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yu-Gi-Oh! Is about a boy who plays this card game that he found out that people take each other's souls in.
Okay.
And he found this puzzle and he completed it, and it summons an ancient spirit of a pharaoh to take his place in his body, and he can defeat anyone in that game.
Mm-hmm. Right, okay. So, I kind of want to talk about that a little bit later too, because I want to compare it to Naruto a bit. So it's one of those card collecting. I guess it was a card collecting game, and then they made this manga and this anime out of it. Okay, so what's it about? So it's
about a ninja school.
A ninja school, right? Or sometimes they call them shinobi. I think the difference is shinobi is the kind of I think ninjas were I think real ninjas were spies. And
these guys are shinobi.
Shinobi were the kind of the guys you see in 80s movies with the black outfits jumping around and stuff. But they don't look like ninjas at all. Like they're called ninjas, they're called shinobi.
And they're teenagers.
And they're teenagers, and it's a ninja school. What do you think about What about the setting?
The setting, it's in this. It's called the Konoha, the village hidden in the leaves, and it's somewhere. I'm pretty sure it's on some different planet because they have a map in one of the books, and it's not that. So it's going to be some alternate universe. Or something.
It does seem like a kind of fantasy universe, like Lord of the Rings or something.
Yeah.
Like that, yeah, based on that map. What about and also the time? Like, what do you think? When do you think it's supposed to be taking place?
It's hard to tell because they use scrolls and stuff, and then they, in one scene, they also have microphones in their ears, so they have communicators. So I'd say about when it was written, so around the 90s.
Wow. Okay. Right. So it takes place in the 90s in some sort of alternate fantasy universe, I guess. I didn't get to as far as any kind of ear listening devices, but there was, like, I noticed they had a style of camera that was like from the, seems like 1800s in one scene. And that's the only thing that seemed really out of place so far in the six that I... Oh, really?
Yeah, the recorders were in book 2. They were capturing a cat or something.
Oh.
I'll try to find it.
Okay. Okay, so it's a ninja school, and we have our main character, Naruto. Now, what do we want to say about Naruto? So
Naruto isn't your normal kid. He's an orphan, and should I do a spoiler?
Yeah, we can spoil it. It's 20 years old. And there's a lot of stuff in the first chapter, right, about him.
Yeah. 12 years ago, there was a demon fox spirit that destroyed the village, and they sealed it inside Naruto when he was an infant.
Right, the soul of the demon fox spirit.
Yes.
And that means that everybody...
There we go.
Oh, right, they do have some sort of listening devices. Yeah, he's got a microphone headset. Okay, so because the fox demon is inside him, everybody in the village hates him. Or at least the older people in the village that know that the fox demon is inside him. Now, the other thing is there is a top ninja in the village who's called the Hokage. Right.
He's the third Hokage.
Yep, okay, so he's like the ultimate super ninja. And Naruto's ambition is to become the Hokage, to replace the current Hokage and become the greatest ninja of all.
Yes. So there was the first Hokage, which we don't know anything about at this point. Second Hokage, who we don't know anything about. Third Hokage, who's leading. He's like an elderly guy.
Okay.
And the fourth Hokage died sealing the spirit inside Naruto.
Oh, so the current one is not the fourth, he's the third?
The current one is the third.
Okay.
So later on they get a fifth.
Oh, okay. Huh. Okay. Yes, and the other thing about these ninjas is they have crazy superpowers. They're almost like superheroes more than ninjas. So
they have chakra.
Yes, so they have chakra.
Hand signs.
Right.
Like
so
that.
they have. Right. So the chakra is like their energy, the spiritual energy inside them, and by making these hand signals, they can release their chakra and have different types of powers. Like, what are some of their powers?
I'll just name a few. Art of substitution, so they replace himself with a log or something. There's doppelgangers.
Yes. So they can create, like, not just illusions of themselves, but like Naruto can make, like his one trick, he can make hundreds of, like, solid illusions, so they can actually, like, punch and kick stuff.
I think the first book,
yes,
he stole this sacred scroll and found out how to do it.
Okay.
So most of the time you can only do regular ones that just pass through.
Right.
But Naruto can actually make solid flesh and blood ones.
Okay. And they also have abilities like they can walk up walls.
Yes, they can run up walls and walk on water and stuff like that.
Yes, by controlling their chakra. Yeah. Okay. So Naruto, how would you describe Naruto's personality?
He's a madman.
Okay.
He's excited about everything.
Yeah.
He enjoys everything he does. And he's so determined. They explained in one book, I'm not sure if it's in these books, but what happens is you have stamina,
Mm-hmm.
and you convert that into chakra
Okay.
to do ninjutsu.
Okay.
So apparently he has extreme stamina. His stamina
Okay.
is like 5,000% or something.
Yeah, he does seem to be able to go on forever.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so he's super keen. He really believes he's going to be the Hokage, even though he is constantly, there are constant obstacles and he constantly fails at a lot of tasks. But he's so super determined. It's like none of that really bothers him. Or it bothers him, but he doesn't let it stop him in his quest to become this kind of super ninja. But he's kind of quite like almost the first page maybe of the first manga, or very close to it.
He's naughty.
Yeah, we see him. He's defacing. He's vandalizing this monument of the faces of the previous Hokage.
Yeah, in the second panel.
Yeah, so that's kind of how we meet him. But he does, like, his teachers do see that they see his determination and they see his worth and they see that there's something in him that maybe a potential that he will become a good ninja someday. Okay, now so there are a couple of other main characters that are students. There's
So they're in 3-man cells.
yeah.
So they have 3 kids and then a teacher. So there's Naruto, there's Sasuke, and there's Sakura.
Okay.
And then the master is Master Kakashi.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about
Sasuke.
Sasuke first. Okay. So Sasuke is already, even though he's a student, he seems like a very advanced student.
Yeah.
He seems to be on a mission he's determined to kill someone.
Yes.
Now, in these 6, I feel like we don't know who he wants to kill yet, but maybe they mentioned it was his brother at
Yes,
one
they
stage?
mentioned it was his brother.
Okay. But nothing else, that plot line hasn't really been explored yet in the first 6. But in the very first time they meet, pretty much, he says he wants to become a ninja so that he could kill some certain person.
And Naruto thinks they're rivals, he and Sasuke.
Yeah.
But Sasuke had surpassed him years ago.
Right. Okay. And they're also kind of romantic rivals because there's kind of a love triangle with Sakura, who's the female member of the cell. And she has a crush on Sasuke.
Yeah.
And hates Naruto. Naruto has a crush on Sakura.
And hates Sasuke.
And hates Sasuke. Sasuke couldn't care less about either of them.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And so there's some funny early bits, some comedy bits where Naruto disguises himself as
Yes.
Sasuke.
Yeah.
Okay, and then there's their teacher, Master Kakashi.
Yeah.
And he's a kind of, I would say he's laid back.
Totally.
But he's a super awesome ninja. He loves reading this series of books called Make Out Paradise.
Yeah.
And that's kind of it for him. Now, in the first 6 volumes, in terms of stories, I think what was kind of surprising to me is there aren't that many, not that much kind of happens if you describe the storyline. So we have a little bit of that love triangle, funny stuff at the start and an introduction to Naruto. Then we have their first mission, or not really a mission, but they have a kind of training lesson.
It's not their first, it's like their 10th or something. But
Well,
they were doing...
it's the first one is a cell because they have to steal their lunch from Kakashi.
Oh, yes, that one.
So there's that, and that goes on for like a lot of chapters. And then they end up on a actual mission. Now, usually, since they're what they call junior ninja, they have very basic missions. And they get annoyed with this and they want to have a more dangerous mission. So they ended up with a level B mission, which is protecting this guy that's from another town that's building this bridge. And he's being threatened by, I guess, some shipbuilders. And then they get attacked by these rival ninjas. Now, we haven't mentioned, too, that there are, like, 4 different cities, and each one has different types of ninja. Like, their powers are based in, like, one's based on water and mist and different things like that.
So the 5 shadows they're called, Snow Villager Hidden in the Leaves is the fire shadow. So they have fire-based techniques as their traditional techniques.
Okay. So that went on for, like, a long time. Like, I don't know how many... I can't remember what volume it started, but...
It started in number 2. Would have finished in 3?
Maybe, but it
3 or
goes...
4. I think it finished in 4.
Yeah, I'm looking at 4 here, and that fight's still going on. Yeah, so you're looking at, like, it takes a very long time for that whole storyline to play out. Like, they get attacked by some ninjas once, they win, but then the ninjas come back after they recover, and then they fight them again. But you're really looking at several volumes worth of material. And then we get this thing where they're having tests to go up to the next level. I can't remember what the journeyman ninja is what they call them.
Yeah.
So what's amazing about this is, so all these ninjas come from other towns, and then they have this written test. So there's no ninja business. And this goes on for, I'm just looking at it here, must be, so it's around page 260 of this volume, and then it goes, it's like 200 pages or something of...
Cheating on a written test.
Yeah, or just about the test and, what are the questions on the test, and... Oh, maybe it's not that, maybe it's like 100 pages, but still it's 100 pages of kids sitting around trying to figure out how to cheat, because the test is so impossible. And it's funny, because it's a 10-question test, but you never actually... You kind of hear what questions 1 and 9 are, and they seem to be about physics of, like, figure out which direction to attack in and stuff like that. But the questions are not even important to the test. The important thing is, like, how the kids are going to cheat. That was kind of amazing. That went on for very long. And then they have this, test out in the field in this, enclosed... wooded area where they have to play a kind of capture the flag with 2 types of flags.
Where they can kill each other.
And that goes on, and that started somewhere around volume 6, and it's still not done. I got to the end of the volume, and none of it still seemed like almost the start of it. So it's got a very... I don't want to say it's a slow pace. It's not slow, but simple things, like where what you would think would be a simple thing...
It goes for 3 pages.
Well, it goes for a lot longer than 3 pages, like hundreds of pages. They find, intricate things. It's, not just a written test. There's so many little details about the rules of the test and things like that in taking it. It's almost like a puzzle box, the way some of the stories are worked out. Did you think... I was thinking that Naruto, so this ran in a magazine called Shonen Jump, and I think Shonen Jump has a reputation for having these kind of super powerful little kid characters that really want to be the best. Did you feel like it was similar to Yu-Gi-Oh in any way?
Yes, because Yu-Gi was the best. Mm-hmm. So they were quite similar, and they did fight to the death.
Yeah.
In both.
Did they really fight to the death in Yu-Gi-Oh?
Not to the death, but they take each other's souls and stuff.
It's almost dead, I think.
Yeah. Basically. But they were similar, and they were completely different at the same time.
Okay. Like what? In what ways?
I don't know, the plots and everything are completely different, but...
What about their personalities?
Their personalities are the same, kind of.
Mm-hmm. I kind of suspected they might be.
It's not Naruto and Yugi that have similar personalities, it's Naruto and a lot of other characters in Yu-Gi-Oh! That have similar personalities.
Okay. Alright. And one guy you were talking about, so I can't remember, there was one character you said that was the scariest character in Naruto. What was his name? Was it that Gaara guy?
Gaara, right.
Okay.
So Gaara uses sand, and he's also a demon,
Okay.
as well as Naruto, and the sand protects her. So what happens is when someone tries to stab her, the sand will just form a shield. She doesn't even have to
Is
think
it
about
a he or a she?
He.
Okay.
Sorry, I keep on getting confused.
That's interesting. Okay, why did you think Gaara was the scariest?
Gaara is so scary because of his personality.
Mm-hmm.
He says that his only reason for living is to kill all humans other than himself.
Well, I haven't gotten to that bit yet.
Yeah.
Okay. So Gaara becomes as I'm reading it, Gaara is just one of the other students that has come to this village for the test.
Yes.
So you're saying is Gaara going to become a more major character?
Yes.
Okay. Huh. Okay.
So should I talk about the later books now?
If you want to, I don't know how much you want to spoil it, but if there's something about the later books you want to mention, because it's interesting to me too, because when we were talking about doing this, and then I said, we were talking about doing this podcast, I said, okay, you should write down anything you think you want to say about it. And then a week later I said, have you written anything down? And you said no, because you couldn't think of what you wanted to say about it. But what is it that you like about Naruto? What was the thing that made you want the first volume and then 29 more?
It's just... It's hard to explain. It's just the characters are amazing and what they do is amazing.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And the plot is amazing.
I did like the way, I like the way they kind of worked out impossible situations. Like, it seems like every test, like even the test about stealing their lunches from Kakashi seems like an impossible test. But it seems like they find ways to overcome those tests. Especially as a team of 3, they find ways to beat those challenges every time. And that, that battle involving the bridge maker and stuff, it always seems like there's no way they can win, and then they find a way to win. Yeah. But was there something about the plot later on that was... you think? So you said there's a 2-year gap, right?
There's a 2-year gap around that, and Naruto leaves to train for 2 years.
Yeah.
And, there's this character I can talk about.
Okay.
His name's Orochimaru,
Mm-hmm.
and he's practically a snake.
Okay.
He can stretch his neck and tongue and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And he's as old as the Hokage,
Okay.
but he looks like he's in his 20s because he steals people's bodies and makes them into his own.
Okay. Yeah, he does show up in the test.
What happens is Sasuke gets stolen,
Mm-hmm.
and he's just changed, so he has to wait 3 years to be able to go into Sasuke's body.
Okay.
So 2 years, there's a gap for training to save Sasuke.
Wow, okay. Got it. Huh, okay. So I think so that's why in the anime it was split into 2 halves as well.
Yes.
And there was a thing called Shippuden, which was the second half.
Coming up, what was missing from the anime version in comparison to the comic? Ashwin's favorite character, interesting character designs, and more. First, just a reminder that you can help this podcast by making your Amazon purchases via deconstructingcomics.com/Amazon and make that your bookmark for future purchases. We'll then get a percentage of what you spend. It costs you nothing extra and helps us cover web hosting and the other costs of presenting this show every week. We really appreciate your support. Tim and Paul race to the scene, where a 1960s Batman TV episode needs analyzing. The show's attitude toward civics.
A loyal taxpayer stooping to criminal methods.
Toward women.
A dish.
Toward time management.
All in all, Batman, you've been pretty busy.
As well as the history, the casting, and more. Tune in via iTunes or Stitcher, or visit tothebatpoles.libsyn.com. for...
To the bat balls.
Now, you also watched a few episodes of the anime, and then you stopped watching it. Now, why did you stop watching?
It didn't have the same vibe as Naruto.
Okay, why
As the
not?
comic.
Do you know... Can you identify what the thing was that was missing?
It's just the uncertainty about it, of having different panels,
Okay,
and they skip a few milliseconds.
right.
Putting those milliseconds that were lost into the show kind of...
It deadens it somehow. Interesting. Well, actually, for me, the action in the comics was the hardest thing to follow. So, often I found people were jumping around and hitting each other or whatever, and I was like, what's going on? Panel to panel, I found it actually a bit hard to follow. And it's interesting, too, because there's, in between each chapter, Kishimoto sometimes includes draft versions that he did of, like, some of the action scenes. So he shows how he drew it, and then how it wasn't working, so he scratched it out. And redid it and improved it, but even the improved final version we got, I found was kind of hard to follow. But then usually at the end, like, so a bunch of weird stuff happens. I don't mean weird stuff. I mean there's a bunch of action, very fast action. I find the drawings a little bit hard to follow. But then at the end of it, somebody always says something like, "Oh, I can't believe he kicked him in the head," and that he dodged past him and kicked him in the
It's
head.
like Kishimoto knows that you're going to get confused.
Almost. I'm surprised. I actually kind of wanted to watch the anime because I thought, the action will be easier to understand for me. I don't know if it was me or my age. I guess you found it easier to follow. You didn't have any trouble with it?
Yeah.
Okay. There was one great sequence I liked where in the battle with the bridge guy, the enemy ninja ends up with a whole bunch of swords stabbed through him, and both of his arms are broken, so he can't pick up a weapon, but he needs to attack this guy. He actually turns on the guy that hired him.
He rips the guy's head off with his mouth, right?
I don't think it was with his mouth. My impression was that he swung his body hard enough that the sword chopped off the guy's head, because the guy's head goes flying. It's a really crazy scene. You only see it in silhouette. But my impression was that he swung his body around, and the sword that was sticking out of him was the thing that cut off the...
Okay. I'm going to find out.
Yeah, have a look for it. Yeah, other than that, I thought the action was a little bit tricky. For me, anyway.
Okay.
If
So it looks
he
like-
chewed his head off, that's the craziest thing.
He ran up to it. He ran up to him.
Yeah.
I think he's got a knife. He's got a kunai
he's
knife
got a
in
knife
his mouth.
in his mouth, that's right. Okay, got
So
it.
then he slashed the guy's head off with the kunai knife.
Right. Okay, got it. See, so even though that was my favorite bit, I still didn't understand it
And
properly.
then he died.
Got it. Okay. Did you have any favorite moments? So is Naruto your favorite character in the series?
No, I like Kakashi.
Okay, you like Kakashi. Why?
His Sharingan. He looks awesome, and his Sharingan.
Okay, so he has this power called
The Sharingan Eye.
Sharingan Eye, okay, which allows him to copy...
And anticipate his opponent's attacks.
Right.
And he's got one eye, and he covers that eye, so he can use when he wants to. But eventually they find out that Sasuke has two Sharingan eyes, and that Kakashi got his through surgery of some sort.
Interesting.
So Sasuke is from the clan that had them, and then Kakashi got it. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Okay, were there any favorite storylines or scenes, specific even moments that
I
you
like
want to
the
talk about?
fact that Naruto has the demon inside him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it kind of gives him... I don't know, though. It kind of gives him... Sometimes he it's almost like he has a level meter and it builds up, and sometimes when he gets so angry or determined,
it comes out.
And it allows him to have certain superpowers that normally he wouldn't. Like,
in one book, it's like his fingers actually get sharp, and he goes insane.
Okay, so it's it gives him an advantage. So it's not like he's totally working his way up on willpower alone. He also has this super powerful being.
And that's why people don't want him to be Hokage, because it destroyed the village.
Right.
So.
Okay. Is there any other scenes or things that you liked in it? Overall?
I liked a lot when they were doing the test.
Okay. The written test?
Yeah, the written test.
Yeah.
That was interesting.
Yeah.
Because at the end, there's 45 minutes left, and that's only when the 10th question gets revealed.
Okay.
And then what happens after that is he's like, okay, so if you leave now, you can choose to leave now. If you do, you leave and don't get upgraded. If you stay, if you get this question wrong, then you can never participate in the exam again.
Mm-hmm.
And then everyone who stayed won the exam because that was the 10th question. So that was super smart. The first time I read that, I was not expecting it at all. But yeah, it's interesting what he thinks of sometimes.
Yeah. And what's not working? So is there anything you feel that wasn't good about the series?
At the end of the third book, Sasuke supposedly dies. And then they find out that he didn't die. He was just really badly injured in the fourth book. But I feel like it was too early in the series for something like that to happen. I feel like it should have been later, around the teens.
Right. Okay.
Because at that point you haven't had such a large connection with the characters.
Okay.
And I feel like if you had more connection with the characters, then you would...
You'd care more that he's supposedly dead. Well, that's true, but also if it happened later, you would believe it less. You wouldn't believe that he was dead, because he would be too major of a character.
Good point.
So, I don't know where you could really put that in. I didn't doubt for a second, even at the end of Volume 3, I didn't doubt that he was not dead.
No, yeah, you see him on the rest of the covers of the books.
Yeah. Okay, anything else that was not... Any characters that were uninteresting? It seems it seems to me if they're like 72 volumes is a lot, so a lot of stuff has to work, and a lot of stuff could go wrong, like that little plot point. Anything else that comes to mind?
Nothing really. It's just like some of the characters. There are some characters who are participating in the exam that are regular.
Okay.
I feel like everyone... Oh, but then it would sort of be like, oh, everyone's special. It's not special to be special, you know?
Oh, so you mean by regular, you mean they just look ordinary, or...
No, they just have regular abilities and stuff. Like, there are some characters, and there's this one that has a dog as a sidekick, and there's this one who has
the dog he has on his head?
Yeah.
All the time? Right.
The dog on it, and he helps him fight. And then there's this other guy who's got millions of beetles living inside him.
What? Okay. I will say I like that dog guy, and that's something else I liked was some of the characters have really interesting designs. So I think that guy with the dog on his head, and that kid Rock Lee. So there's this guy with
Rock Lee. Yeah, he's got he's bushy brows.
Yeah, bushy brows. He's got super thick eyebrows, and it's an unusual design, kind of that you don't normally see that kind of design in manga. And he also is a protege of a guy.
Who looks Yeah.
Guy is even more...
He has bushier brows and bigger hair.
Right. And they've got a kind of strange looking, like very round, like their eyes almost like circles, and they're quite interesting to look at. I found that some of the female characters were...
Female characters were uninteresting, and there were very few.
Yeah. So they introduced, after Sakura, there was another, and we haven't really talked about Sakura's personality much either yet, but there was another girl that was introduced, I can't remember her name, but... Ino, that's right. And sometimes I had trouble telling them apart, like there would be a scene and I would forget whether it was Sakura or Ino.
And even then, there's only those two girls and who were main people.
Yeah.
And now, the only girl after that that's been introduced is in, like, volume 18 or something. Or, like, volume 28.
Yeah, but
there is
another... one of the other teachers, one of the other examiners...
Yes, was a girl.
Was a woman.
Yeah.
I don't remember if there were... Wasn't there one on the team with the dog head guy? I don't remember, but she's not a major character so far.
Oh, yeah, right.
I don't remember. I think there are a few others in the other cells.
There are 2 or 3.
Yeah. But they're not super major. Oh, and there's... Wait a second. There was... During the bridge guy thing...
Oh, yeah,
there's a ninja that came in. It was either a girl that looked like a boy or a boy that...
It was a boy that looked like a girl.
Okay.
But he totally drew it as the same.
He drew it as a girl. He drew it as a girl. And she even had to say...
one last thing. I'm a boy.
I'm a boy. She had to say it so that we knew it. Because otherwise it would have been... We would have never known. Or it would have been very confusing. It was hard to tell. But, okay, yeah, so... Sakura, the thing about... we talked a bit... So Sasuke is really already a good ninja, and Naruto's trying to be a super ninja, and he's kind of got that demon inside of him. Sakura is... I think she's the weakest of the three?
Yes.
And...
But she has the best chakra control.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if that's... Oh, maybe she was the first one to walk up the tree.
She was.
Okay. Yes, she was. But she's constantly worried that she's not as good as the other two.
Yeah. They explain in the first book that when they're trying to steal the lunch from Kakashi, Naruto's just up there fighting, and then Sasuke's hiding and setting traps and stuff. Mm-hmm. And Sakura's like worried about Sasuke. And later on, Kakashi says, Sakura, Naruto, you should fight with your team. Sasuke, good job, but also you should fight with your team. Sakura, you spent your time worrying about Sasuke, who you didn't even know where he was, rather than worrying about Naruto, who was right in front of you.
Right. And I think at some point in one of the tests, she was... So often with the test, it seems like if one person fails, the entire cell fails.
Yes.
And she's always worried about how she's not a good ninja.
Because she wants to impress Sasuke.
Well, not only that, she thinks she's not a good ninja, and she doesn't want to fail the whole...
But she thinks she's better than Naruto.
Oh, is that right?
Or at least Naruto sucks.
Yes. Okay, that's true.
She hates Naruto completely.
Does she become a better ninja later on? I mean, how long is... So by the end of the first half, before Shippuden, how long... Are they the same age, or is it over several years, or...
The only year break is them, but I think it's like... I'm gonna say it's like half a year.
Okay, so it's not long.
Yeah.
So do you think she improves as a ninja, or does even Naruto improve? Let's talk about Sakura first.
But so Sakura doesn't exactly improve, but around then she's around the end of the first series, she's getting taught by the fifth Hokage about how to be a medic.
Okay.
So she doesn't increase her skill. She starts to become a medic.
Okay. Because they're a bit like, Naruto and Sasuke and Sakura are a bit like Harry Potter and Hermione and Ron.
Yeah.
Except Hermione was the...
Smart one.
She was almost the Sasuke.
And Ron was the Naruto.
Yeah, sort of. Well, no, Harry was the Naruto because Harry had that
thing.
He had the superpower in him already.
No, but the superpower made everyone love him
Okay.
and think he was awesome.
Okay. Okay, another thing we could have had in this series, probably could have used a pronunciation guide.
Yeah.
Because I remember
I said Hokage.
Hokage or something like that, or
Hokage. Yeah. I said Hokage and Sasuke.
Yeah, Sasuke. Well, I remember I met the guy, I met the brand manager of Madman Entertainment. Now, Madman is the company in Australia that releases all the anime and some manga. And even he called Naruto Naruto.
Naruto.
Yeah,
Wow.
he called it Naruto. And this guy was like the head of promoting and advertising of this series.
Wow.
I was kind of a bit surprised. But yeah, I did feel like we could have used something maybe a bit like that. Otherwise, I don't know. You want more volumes, right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Totally.
I don't know if I would keep reading right away. Do you feel like there are a lot of twists and surprises coming up?
A lot.
I guess that means I should keep reading?
Because I haven't read the Shippuden in ages, so it's pretty much I've just left off
Right.
at the end of the...
Okay. Huh. Yeah, well, I mean, they're fast, even as slow as long as it took me to read them. I mean, they are pretty quick reads, but
Yeah.
I'm still not super decided if I'll keep reading or not. But it's one of the most popular series, one of the most popular manga series, I think. Like,
yeah.
Even now, and I think even this English volume 1 is 22nd printing. And that was 2009, so that's almost 10 years ago.
What about Boruto?
Yeah, what is that? Do you know what that is?
I don't know, but I feel... You told me once that it was Naruto's son, but...
I think, yeah, that sounds familiar.
It does...
It's not by Kishimoto either.
Yeah.
So
is it going to be just a remake?
Well, I don't know. It's hard to imagine how it could be any good if it was not Kishimoto and if somebody else was... I don't know. I have to look it up to properly find out what it is. Yeah, but what is Boruto?
Boruto.
So, yeah, I think I did hear it was about Naruto's son or something. It seems... I don't know. I'm less interested in that.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, how would you rank this series? Is it one of your favorites or?
It's one of my favorites, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'd rank it of the Shonen Jump manga that I've read. Yeah, I think it's pretty good, but I do think that Naruto's personality, like that's what I was kind of getting at with the Yu-Gi-Oh question. I feel like he's a type, like he's a Shonen Jump type of character.
I feel like Yugi is more of a Sakura type, though.
In what way?
He's always like, guys, stop fighting, stop fighting. Like that. While Naruto is the one who's fighting.
Right, I got it. Okay. Okay, any last things you want to say about it? I think we've kind of covered it and we kind of spoiled it. Yes and no, but I mean it's six. Like I said, not 6 volumes and kind of not much happens. There's only 3 or 4 storylines, and in the 1,200 pages that I read. Any final thoughts?
No, not really.
Yeah, just like when we came in, no thoughts about it.
No. Yeah.
You just enjoy it.
Yeah.
For the twists and turns.
Yeah.
But even though you knew what was going to happen, you read it again. And did you like it as much the second time?
Yeah, completely.
Okay, so the appeal was the second. So the second time when you knew what was going to happen, if the appeal wasn't the plot, what was the appeal?
Well, the appeal was still the plot.
Okay.
But what happened was, I remembered them saying things and stuff. When I went back to read them, what they said was different.
Okay.
So it was the same plot, but it sounded like different wordings to me.
Interesting.
But it was still great.
I did find I really laughed at some stuff, and I liked Rock Lee, that guy especially, and I would look forward to reading more of that stuff, because I did really laugh at the love triangle stuff, and especially when Rock Lee shows up and he's got a thing for Sakura as well.
Yeah.
I thought that was super funny.
Yeah.
Naruto is published in English by Viz Media. Tell us what you think. Write us at mail@deconstructingcomics.com or contact us through social media. Find all the links on the right sidebar at deconstructingcomics.com. We're also on the Comics Podcast Network at comicspodcasts.com and on comiccon.com, where our new episodes go up on Fridays, give or take a day. Also, please give us a review on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find podcasts. Tell the rest of the world why you enjoy Deconstructing Comics. Our theme is from bensound.com. Once again, don't forget to help support the show with a pledge at patreon.com/deconcomics. For the past 4 months, we've been running Deconstructing Comics and Critiquing Comics on alternate weeks. This has been great for me in terms of time needed to edit episodes, but it's created a traffic jam of recorded episodes from our various contributors. So, at least for the rest of this month and perhaps into June, we're reverting to the old schedule. So look for a Critiquing Comics episode this coming Thursday. Then, next Monday, Patrick W. makes his first appearance on the podcast in years, and I actually do a full episode for once, and we dig into How to Read Nancy, a book that is both a look at the underrated comics genius of Ernie Bushmiller and a worthy successor to Scott McCloud's Understanding Comics. So be here next week. Till then, this is Tim, and thanks for listening to Deconstructing Comics.